This guy's called the Standing Streamer.
From Wrestling with Regret, and you're watching Putting You Over.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Putting You Over. I'm the Standing Streamer, and we are live here tonight on August 11th for another episode of Putting You Over 8. We're going to talk a little wrestling tonight, 9:30. We're going to have the real world's champion, the TNA World's Champion Moose here with us tonight. Excellent. Bring us over. How's it going, sir?
Going well.
Going well. We're I said at the start of the show, I'm watching Impact here. I was like, oh man, it would be awesome if Moose was just finished his match and then and then he shows up on here. For those in the chat tonight, we are talking to the real world's champion, the TNA World's Champion. And how you doing tonight? Thanks for giving us your time.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me pull up my notes right here. I was doing some research, and I was listening to, and someone called you the Chocolate Flair with your robes, your entrance, your style. Was Flair one of your favorite wrestlers growing up?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm sure he was everybody's favorite wrestlers growing up.
That's true. That's a good point.
The first time I ever watched wrestling, it was the 92 Royal Rumble.
Yes.
So it was the first time, and Flair won it, and it was the first time I pretty much fell in love with wrestling.
I'll never forget that Royal Rumble too, because
it's probably my favorite Royal Rumble to watch. It definitely stands out compared to the other.
Yeah, and it does.
Yeah,
go ahead.
He's definitely my top 4 favorite wrestlers of all time. So
who else is up there with you?
Macho Man, Macho Man, Scott Hall, and believe it or not, Bill Goldberg.
Bill, you know what? I was just putting down Bill Goldberg right before we got on. Not putting down, but I was saying we were talking about if Roman Reigns was going to return, and we got to get Bill Goldberg back in the ring. I was like, I don't really want to see him anymore, but I don't know, man. I guess he never resonated with me. I don't know why, really. I guess maybe I was more a WWE attitude guy then, but.
You can't. He's one of my favorite, not because of his wrestling,
just
but of his presence. Yeah. And, the demeanor he went to the ring with.
Intensity.
His intensity, or stuff like he probably had the best presence in all of wrestling history. Like his presence was so great, and I think that's what made him who he was. Not really his wrestling match, but
And you guys had you guys almost run a semi-parallel track to wrestling. You know, you both came from the NFL. You both played for Atlanta, actually.
Yeah.
Um, you had gone to a couple other teams too, the Patriots, the Rams, and I think that story is so unique because you didn't even you didn't even start playing football till you were a junior in high school. Then you went
Yeah.
on to play at a little farther north than where I am right now at Syracuse, and like
Where you located right now?
I'm in Albany, New York, but I have friends and
Hmm.
family out there in Syracuse. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so that was so interesting. Like you weren't playing any sports, any football, till your junior year in high school. What made
Yeah.
you jump on board with that?
Well, most of my friends did it. Pretty much what makes us do anything is when
Mm-hmm.
you see peer pressure, you see how friends do stuff, it
That's
makes
right.
you want to do it.
Could have been worse. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Um, I had a question about the Patriots and Bill Belichick, but did you have any run-ins with him at all?
What do you mean?
Like, I just feel like I was just wondering what it would be like to play under Bill Belichick.
Oh, I mean, he's greatest coach to ever coach.
Yeah, right.
On the field, he's more of an asshole, but off the field, he's really great guy, cool guy, stand up guy. Like,
Yeah,
but he's kind of like a wrestler. He's a worker. Once the camera turns on,
yeah,
he turns into a different person. You know?
yeah. Very competitive. I mean, he seems very competitive. That makes
Yeah.
sense to me. So, explain to me how uh, I believe the middle linebacker for the Rams, James
Laurinaitis.
Laurinaitis gets you. I think he was the middle linebacker. Gets you a tryout for the WWE.
Easy. His uncle was John Laurinaitis. So, and James knew I was always a big wrestling guy and big a fan. Because I would talk to him about a lot of the stuff that was going on at that time with um WWE and their product. So once I was done playing, I hit him up and told him if he had any connections, and he hit up his uncle in less than a week, or less than 2 weeks. I got a tryout.
Wow. And so that was in where was that tryout?
It was in Tampa, the old facility.
Oh, okay.
The performance center wasn't a thing
Yeah,
at this point.
I think it was. Forgot who ran. So how did that tryout go for you?
It went well. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Um, so you went. Now, from what I've learned, you were doing a tryout. You were doing well, but you got knocked in the head, and I think you got concussed.
Yeah.
And at the time, that scared them away due
Yeah,
to
because of my whole football
yeah,
past and
because
all
of
the
your history
concussions I had.
football.
So they told me if I really love wrestling, then I would get trained, because you got to understand at this point I haven't had any training. I was just going off
All right,
pure
skill.
athletic
Yeah.
from football. So they told me if you really love this and really want to do this, um, find a school and train, and we'll see what happens. And that's exactly what I did.
And that school was Mr. Hughes' school in Atlanta.
Yeah, Mr. Hughes' school was the first school I trained with to start out the first few months of this journey,
Yeah.
and then I got introduced with Scott Demore, and he trained me for a good bit too, and I consider him a good friend, like more like a mentor than anything.
Yeah. You had said something that I found really interesting. Hughes taught you, or the Hughes school taught you, like to do the moves and take the bumps and what to do like that. But Scott Demore taught you the psychology, why you're going to do this move, why you're going to take that bump.
Yeah,
And I thought that was great.
yeah.
So you go there, and then it's like Ring of Honor. That's where I stumbled upon you, Ring of Honor,
Hmm.
and also another another I guess friend of the show that I've talked to before. His name is Larry Dallas, and he told
Yeah.
me to say hi to you.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, he
Good
goes,
buddies with Larry.
yeah.
Yeah.
said Larry's a good friend of you. So you went from Ring of Honor, that's where I stumbled upon you, and then to Impact. And what was that debut like in Impact?
It was awesome. I think my first debut at Impact, I did a thing with Bennett. I think Bennett brought me in, and I think my first feud was with Lashley. It was like a collision course with the two biggest guys in the company, with myself and Lashley, and I laid him out my first night in the company, and yeah, it was fun. I remember it. It was awesome. The fans took it well. It was a total surprise. Nobody knew I was coming in
Yeah,
because my contract just ended with Ring of Honor like the week before, so it was like it was a quick turnaround.
yeah. And
Going 1 week working with one company to the next week working a new company.
there was at that time at like because it's internet, everyone's talking, there's social media and everything. At that time, Moose was, is he gonna go to like where is he going? And sure enough, there you were in Impact. And I remember those matches with Lashley. Those, I mean, whew.
Yeah.
Question in the chat wants to know: would you rather have another face run, or is being heel much more fun?
I'm one of those guys I consider I could do anything. I feel like I would, if I ever was to go back to being a babyface. I think I'll be more over as a babyface because now that I am a heel, I actually know what it takes to be a good babyface, and what I did before was just natural and
Right.
instincts. Where when my first run as a babyface was just instincts. Where now, as I've been a heel and in a good heel for the last few years, I actually know what I need to do, what makes a good baby face, instead of just going off of instincts. I actually know what makes a good baby face. So I think if I ever was to go back to being a baby face, I'll actually be really good at it because I've learned a lot just from being a heel.
Do you feel at least one silver lining in this wrestling in front of no fans uh, has helped you with certain aspects of getting over especially as a heel, like facial
Um,
expressions, stuff like that?
yeah, I don't know about getting over, but
Yeah,
I do know that there's positives about having no fans because it makes you work on little things that you don't even think about
yeah,
doing when there's fans there. Like you understand that without fans, it's quiet. And a lot of people, when they wrestle, don't talk. When they wrestle, don't
yeah.
say nothing. They just going moves to moves to moves to moves. But now there's no fans there. It's dead quiet. So it makes you work on your verbiage and what you say during a match, and um, how you have to make what you say make sense, and just not spitting out stupid verbiage because the audio and the cameras could pick up everything you're hearing because there's no fans there. So it teaches you that little things that you take for granted when there's fans in the arena.
I remember in Impact not too long ago. I don't know, a little ways back. You were you would work with Killer Cross in Impact at that time. You guys would have. I think you guys were teaming at the time. That
Hmm.
stuff was good. I loved the stuff you did with the Rascals and Eddie Edwards in the Insane Asylum. That stuff right there alone. I mean, you are a creative, funny. I mean, you're talented in the ring. I'm gonna put you over here. You're very talented in the ring. But that creative stuff you did with the Rascals and Eddie Edwards in the Insane Asylum, I mean, that just takes your character to a whole new level. It's just great stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate it. I can't. I wish I could tell you what we have going on and
Yeah.
with the stuff now, but you just have to watch. But I think the next few months will show you a different side of me that viewers haven't seen.
Um, the whole TNA. Let's change this topic to and let's get off Impact and get back on TNA. When you came out with that TNA Championship belt at oh gosh, at Rebellion maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wherever you came out with it, you just walked out declaring yourself the world champion, TNA world champion again. First of all, one, I loved seeing that belt back. Two, was that the original plan? Because
Yeah, the original plan was for me to win it at the shows in Tampa in April, but with
yeah,
COVID going
yeah.
on, we had to bring the title in a different way. So
No, that was a good way
what
to bring it
what's
in.
better than me just showing up with the title? I mean, nothing beats that. Like I think it makes my heel run even more ridiculous than actually winning it.
Yeah, I think it does. I think that actually uh, brings more attention to the TNA, your character that you're going with right now, than to have like I think you guys were going to do a King of the Mountain type of match, going back, going back to the TNA days. I can't wait to see where this storyline goes. Somebody said to me, I think it might have been you, Vanessa, uh, who's still here, said split split Impact into two factions: the TNA originals and the Impact wrestlers. You being the champion on TNA and Eddie Edwards.
I mean, that would be a good. I mean, on paper it sounds good, but I
Yeah,
don't think we have enough people on our roster. I mean, you understand, we're not WWE. We
no,
don't have a
right.
100 wrestlers on our roster to have a split brand. So yeah, like I see fans tweeting ideas like that on Twitter all the time, but it's like, be realistic. I mean, we have 30 guys active max on our roster. I mean, you can't have two shows with 15
Right.
wrestlers for. So yeah, it sounds cool on paper, but it's something that would never happen.
Another Bob in the chat who had the question earlier about face and heel points out that you walking out with the Impact Championship or the TNA Championship, sorry, champ, you walking out with that title is very 1992 Ric Flair. So it does
Yeah,
come full circle.
yeah, it
Um,
does. I mean, same thing he did when he brought over the NWA title
yeah,
after he left. Yeah.
that's awesome. Um, you're I I'm saying Flair, so the first I'm thinking of robes right now. How many robes do you actually own?
I think are they 11 or 12?
Are
Yeah.
has it become addicting? Like I collect concert posters, and I buy one and I just keep buying. Is it
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that?
yeah, they are. It does get addicting, but you have to be smart because they are also
Yeah.
pricey. So, like at this point now, I only get new roles made when there's a big pay per view. Like if it's a slammer, I used to. I mean, I'll say I'll get a role made every pay per view. I'll say, but then I usually sell one of my older ones once I buy a new one. It gets to a point now that if I buy a new one, then I'll sell the old one. But I usually buy them every pay per view. I'll bring in a new role, but I'll try to sell one because I mean it's pricey. You're going to talk about from spending from a grand to 1,800 on the robe,
Ugh,
so it gets pretty pricey.
yeah. I'm watching Impact's on right now, and they're doing this Wrestle House stuff, and I just
Yeah,
think
I'm
to,
watching it too. Yeah.
Arya, and I'm thinking, man, Moose is so funny and creative. Like I would love to see you in one of these skits, I guess, vignettes. It'd be
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean, we'll see. I mean, this is the first season that they're trying and is really popular right now. So
Yeah.
we'll see how popular it gets. And I mean, you never know. I mean, I'm sure at some point, everybody on our roster is going to get a chance to be on it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
As long as Mr. Dreamer lets you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, TNA, with your world championship, um, where, what do you have in store? What are the goals for Moose, the real world's champ?
Honestly, just to get better every time I step in the ring. I really don't like making long-term girl
Yeah.
goals because in wrestling, at the end of the day, you really don't control where you go. You
Yeah.
can only physically get better and work on yourself. So I just every time I step in the ring, I just want to get better than I was the last time I was in the ring, you know. And that's what wrestling and character related stuff and promo.
Is there anybody you've not worked with in Impact? We'll just say in Impact. Is there anybody you have not worked with in Impact that you would like to?
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Doc. I mean, I've worked Doc before, just
Yeah.
haven't worked him in Impact. But Doc is somebody I would love to work. Carl Anderson is another guy I would love to work. Eric Young, I've never worked him. So we have a bunch of fresh faces and a few guys that I would like to lock horns with. Even guys like Rich Swan. We had like a small little mingle at the Gauntlet about 8 months ago. So I mean, but we have a highly talented roster. I mean, there's a bunch of guys on this roster I would like to work with.
Yeah, your EC3's back. I know you guys are good friends. Yeah. So that's good to see him back there. Is there anything you haven't accomplished, like belt? Like, have you been the X Division champ?
No, I haven't. But I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
I have a long time left with Impact, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Has there been any? Because we've all been stuck inside for the most part, or at least, I mean, now we're getting out slowly, but before that we have been. Has there been any new talents or skills that you've learned that you can use in or out of the ring?
You just have to watch to see that.
Oh, I like that.
You just have to watch to see that. Yeah, I mean, I once in a while I'll go to a wrestling ring and try to work on some stuff, but I mean, I can't just give it up right now.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You have to watch the product to see. You would definitely see it if I've done it. If you've never seen me do it before.
Yeah. Your ring style for the people in the chat that maybe have never seen you. We're gonna push this out to YouTube. People that haven't seen you. You don't work as the average big man. How would you describe your style and your technique in the ring?
I mean, I think I'm kind of hybrid. I mean, it depends on who I'm facing. I mean, I pride myself on being able to work any kind of style, but to answer that question, I guess my style depends on who my opponent is. If I'm wrestling a big guy, you need a big style match, I could give you that. If you need a Japanese style match, I could give you that. If you need a lucha style match, even though I haven't done that in a while, I could give you that too. Like, I pretty much could. I'm hybrid. I do it all.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Mr. Champ, I have breezed through all the notes that I took down for tonight. Vanessa, do you have anything that you would like to ask the real world's champion?
No, you've kind of glossed over everything I wrote down.
I saw a big M on the screen, and I was like, oh, here he comes. No, it's not him. It's Myers. But that's okay. What I'd like to do at the end of the show, Moose, is give the proverbial microphone to you. The floor is yours. You can put over anything you want. You can say literally anything you want. I will not interrupt. Go ahead, champ.
For all the guys who like me and follow me, thanks. I appreciate your support. For you guys that hate me, thanks. I appreciate your support. You could follow me on Twitter at @TheMooseNation and on Instagram at MooseNation69.
Awesome. Moose, I really appreciate you giving us the time tonight, especially during these times. And I can't wait to see what we got in store. So have yourself a great night.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. No problem. Later. Awesome. That was great.
This guy's called the Standing Streamer.
The champ is here!